Students, hello. Um, in your next class, we're going to do next steps. So you probably have a soldered ring by now, right? So you can take a minute. I didn't bring a file over here, of course. Why would I? And round your ring on the mandrel. And then you can either, if it's a perfectly flat ring and it's not perfectly flat here, you could take a file and file it across the big long file to flatten both the sides. And you can also file it across the seam to get rid of that seam perfectly. I know this is not a file. This is what I was using to pretend. Okay. So those are your first couple steps of what to do today. Then you can go into this tin of silver on my desk and find one that your stone sits on. You want to kind of find, the most efficient way to do this is to find the smallest piece of silver that your stone sits on, so it's less work for you to saw out, because yes, you will be sawing it out. And then you'll take a Sharpie marker of some sort and trace around your design. And you're going to see, like, when I trace, my marker doesn't work. When I trace, it automatically leaves a little bit of a gap around my stone, and you need that little gap because you have to include the bezel wire in your piece, right? So trace around that. You want it butted up to the edge or the corner of something, somehow. And then you're going to saw that out. Look at that great job I did. So use the outside edge of this line and saw that whole thing out. If you have little pieces like this, there is like a little cheat, a little hack, where you can take a wire cutter and then cut it and then wiggle it back and forth. And then it'll get it off. But anything bigger than that, you should saw it with a saw. And then you will file this backplate all around the edges, and you will surface file across this side and the other side so that it can be soldered. You'll take all the scrap metal and put it back in here. Again, you're not designing it in the middle of this piece of metal. You're putting it all the way on the edge so we save as much silver as we can, okay? Next time we're in class, I will show you how to solder your backplate to your ring, so we'll get all prepped and ready for that. And save your questions for next time around. I'm around.